once one can see how a person can get trapped into believing in the devil, once you can see that, you can begin to see what that pattern is and to make sense of it. Because it's a standard pattern that we have in our thinking. You know, a good illustration, I think, at this point is in our eyesight. You know, we have a visual field that's limitless. There's no, when we're looking and living and so forth, and in a normal human vision, you don't have any blind spots at all. But on the other hand, I know from school that we actually have blind spots. But because we're able to compensate for that, and we're able to fill that in until we make it to where our vision is perfectly clear. And so that's sort of what happens in our psychology is we have some blind spots, and we just kind of fill in those pieces with what we think it's supposed to be. And then when we do that, if it's something that's really unhealthy way of thinking, like projecting the creation of a spirit creature that's an adversary, you know, because we're creators, and our world becomes what we create until we uncreate it. Sort of like, really another way to say that is our world becomes what we believe until we unbelieve it. Because that's what happened, is Eve believed that. Now, what caused her to believe it exactly, who knows? Because it was based on ignorance, okay? You know, it might have been something that Adam said to her that got her thinking on some track. Maybe he was trying to help her to understand what danger is, you know, and he used the illustration of a snake. You know, be careful when you're around a snake because it could bite you. And then and from that she went off and invented a world. Who knows? It could be nothing. You know, it could be as innocent as can be. And it could be, on the other hand, it could be something that her in a conversation with Jehovah, she asked him a question, you know, and the answer was X. And she thought about it and said, okay, yes, let's do X, you know. You know, it may be a choice. It may have been a choice that was painted as a non-choice, because painted as a non-choice, it became an adversary. And the adversary was something that gave us the backbone to become what we are. Again, I'm not blaming, there's no blame to be had with regard to the belief in the devil. Okay, none whatsoever. It's just to be overcome. Just like when you're building a structure and you're finished, you don't leave the working tools and the scaffolding and the debris in the building. Building the building you didn't build it for the sake of building it and just left all the trash on the ground, you know, and then evacuated the building. No, you built it for a reason. You built it for it to be occupied. Okay, well, what are you building? I kind of got lost in this. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, once you finish building a structure, you get rid of the debris, you get rid of the tools, you get rid of the false work, they call that. You know, the framing that went into forming stuff up, perhaps temporarily holding things in place so that you can bolt it up or concrete it and let the concrete harden, you know, to give it so many days for it to become a crystallized solid. Anyway, there's different reasons for things to be present at certain times, but once that time is done, you get rid of that, you know, and then you update it with new information, with current information. Well, yeah, believing in the devil had some value at some time. It was actually misused. It was abused. It was taken advantage of. It was it's going the spectrum. It's done. Now we know that there's no life in it. It's a dead way of thinking. Or it's an unnecessary way of thinking. It's an old way of thinking. It's dead, and that it's given its life, and now it's no longer necessary. I mean, that's really the attitude we should have. We're letting go of the past. The past is believing in a devil. And now, we're accepting the fact that each one of us is responsible for ourselves. We are each children of God, and He trusts us to grow at our own pace and to be sincere about it, that we all want to do our best because we're His child. I mean, why wouldn't we want to do our best? Become that special. I mean, think of a hand. A good illustration is a hand. A hand has 5 fingers, and I wouldn't want to change one of them. The thumb finger is exactly what I want it to be, and all my other fingers, they seem to just work together so perfect and so forth. Each one of them. Now, they're all different. Now, a centipede has got thousands and thousands of hands. Now, a centipede probably looks at its hands and says the same thing. Oh, man, look, I love all these thousands and thousands of hands I got. I need each one of you. I appreciate exactly what y'all do and so forth and so on, exactly where y'all at, exactly what I need. Okay, and then there's what animals got? Then I got some kind of microphalgia or something, some kind of a whatever, and and what it is, it's an orb with billions of arms sticking out of it, all around it. It's an orb with billions of arms sticking out of it. Okay? And this thing is constantly multiplying and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's just one big organism. It's individual cells, but one big organism. Are we starting to get the picture of what God is? Every one of us is one of the fingers on this organism that God is. Each one of us is unique and yet fits perfectly into the situation in life that we're in, okay? But at this point in time, we're going through a change, and this change is basically saying, sort of like the change that goes from being a worm or caterpillar into a butterfly. It's a metamorphosis, and we're at the metamorphosis change where we no longer need the support of one body to grow in, because we've basically grown past the need for it. And that body being the belief in the devil. We no longer need its support, its scaffolding, its framing. We no longer need any of that, because now we have a new structure. And this new structure is the structure of oneness, recognizing that although we are all unique individuals, we're all connected to a whole, like each of us being unique, connected to a hand. And then, that grows into a family. Each of us being unique, part of a family. And then each of us being unique, part of a community. And each of us being unique and part of a country. And each country being unique, being part of many countries. Can you start to see the pattern? Well, that pattern, just because it gets to humans, doesn't mean that, humans are completely, each one unique unto itself. They're all connected to one another. It's all one big pattern. It's the human family. And yes, it appears that, a lot of things are going in different directions, in chaos to some degree. In reality, what's happening is that chaos is being transmuted into cosmos. Well, think of it like this. Chaos isn't very loving, Okay, it's chaotic, it's rude, it's demanding, it's like it's a petulant child. Okay, that's good because there's no wisdom in it. It's just randomness. Okay, that's what chaos is, and that's where mankind came from their. Think of we're growing our mind, our consciousness, our ability to think better and better, and deeper and wider. And that's what's happening right now. So it's going from this randomness of mind to a much more a logical and loving randomness, which is very rude and crude and harsh, to a loving, kind, gentle, elegant, mathematical, where everything adds up, everything is in the best interest of all, so that all things add up perfectly and all benefit, and there's growth and expansion and goodness. And that's what it's about. Peace profound.